So it's time to release my game. But why? Because recently I've been working on a game where the player gets to levels and kills enemies for loot. But the RPG isn't finished because there's still a lot of polishing to do. That's probably the easiest step, right? You just gotta revamp the entire game, add more content, fix all the bugs, So I guess I gotta release this thing. It's fine, I've only been working on this for 8 months. I'm sure nobody is waiting. Let's go ahead and open the project and, whoa, is it just me or is it time for a revamp of this game? Because, well, honestly, the world doesn't give enough of that RPG look. So let's start designing. I first started off by making some base assets and then got to work on the actual border. After that, I made these platforms which will be randomly generated on each level. But how does map generation actually work? First, you get your folder full of levels. This pretty much acts as a jar that holds our pre-made map sets. Then we randomize all the levels in the jar and randomly pick them out until the jar is completely empty. Now, when you complete a level, it just takes the next level off the list and generates it in the map. However, keep in mind that we only preload the next map once the player has finished the level they're currently on. This allows the game to run smoothly while still giving off that infinite generation effect. This is looking a lot better. However, there's a problem. The mini-boss arenas aren't looking that good and doesn't live up to their name. Like John the Lumberjack. What a great name. So I started designing the arenas that each mini-boss will have. For the Lumberjack, I decided to go for a mountainous terrain, and I slapped on some trees and other decorations and called it good. For the Giant Goblin, I designed a full arena with tons of goblin minions. I think this stadium with drummers looks really cool and gives off that Goblin King effect really well. I also built this bridge, which I totally didn't copy. Get inspired from Deepwoken. Now, while designing the game, it's important to ask key questions like, what am I doing? Why am I developing this game? And what am I doing? Half the time, I don't even know. But what I do know is the game doesn't feel right. It doesn't give off that full RPG effect. And for that, I have a solution. Now hear me out, we add more movement to the character. Yeah, thank you. Hey, thank you. So we designed a system that gives more speed to the character, and we also added jumping back. Then we made it a more core component to the game by allowing them to air dash. I know, a completely unique idea that nobody has ever done. Whoa, this is going great, but it still doesn't feel right. So I got to work figure out a game system that gives a player more momentum while playing. And a stroke of genius hit me. What if we added spirits? Hear me out. Their orbs drop when the player kills an enemy, and it grants some extra movement speed and other buffs. Now this plan is great because I'm what you call a thinker. So let's get started designing these spirit orbs. And that's when I realized I am not a thinker at coding. I honestly don't know how I've made it this far, but good thing actually smart people live on this earth, like Com3t, who's the lead scripter of the game. Hey Com3t, how can we actually design?
Well, you've come to the right place. First, open up a script. Huh? What is that? Now this is how you're gonna make those little balls drop when you kill enemies. Oh yeah, balls. When this little function gets called, it comes with a unique code for the spirit you're about to make. Here, we clone a ball and put it where the enemy died, just as if it were loot or coins. Here's some cheeky math that I found off of Dev Forum. This line checks if the code has already been used on a spirit. If it hasn't, we make the spirit start following your player using tween service.
Yeah, ooh, spirits. I know, looking fresh. But these balls are going to help the player by giving them that movement speed that they need. Now let's switch on over to the lobby. It looks pretty good, but it's still missing a pretty big piece of the pie, the exterior. Now I like building, and I want to go for a very RPG Victorian theme. So without further ado, let's get to work. Nice, now that we have the lobby, let's just take a look what we got here. We have the town hall, the outside armory, the farms. Somebody fishing in the void. Let's just not talk about it. Now it's time to upgrade the weapons and get some nice VFX going. But there's a problem. This joke is so dumb. I can't make visual effects. Me? You think I can make...
I finished the VFX. Please, I need my money. Please.
You know what? I think it's finally time you get paid. You've shown some true dedication, and I think it's about time.
Really? It's time?
Time for you to get back to work. Yeah, yeah, that's why. Anyways, so we got the VFX. He just handed it over. I don't know what convinced him. Now, a lot of you guys wanted us to change the abilities because they take way too long. So we got to work and fix the timing of them. So now the abilities are much faster. Hopefully this will fix the issue, but please keep giving me feedback. I think this gives off a more fast-paced attitude towards the game, which matches really well with the new movement. Now, we also kind of wanted to improve these icons because they're not looking the best, to say the least. But I'm not really popular in the pixel art community. Actually, I'm not really popular for anything, but we need to improve these icons. So who could I get to make these icons for the game?
No.
Looking good. And from here, it's just smooth sailing, right? I mean, you just have to polish the game, and I think I can finally take a break.
Huh? Psst. Fudge. Fudge? Fudge! Fudge! It's been 3 months!
Oh, shoot. So I may have taken a little bit of a break, but it's time to get back to work.
Let's do this.
We started off by designing a mana bar, which is kind of like a stamina bar, but whenever you use an ability or dash, it lowers how much mana you have. Also, there totally wasn't like a million errors, so yeah, that's fun. But that's completely fine because I'm a game developer, and I know exactly what I'm doing. Kind of. Not really. Next, with all these new additions, it's time to add some new banners. First, we added the mana boost, which, well, improves your mana. Then we also added 3 new banners for the spirits. Rage spirits increase the damage you do, lifesteal gives you health once you obtain a spirit, and lastly, you can increase your capacity because the more balls, the better. Who wrote that in the script? Now it's time for multiplayer, which is extremely easy. All you have to do is handle network requests, implement sanity checks, replicate VFX locally, track player status on server side, detect hacker script. No, but jokes aside, one of the good things about using Roblox's game engine is that it's really simple to implement multiplayer support into your game, since, well, it's already connected to their servers. So yeah, take that, hours of multiplayer networking. Now we have multiplayer working well, which means you can party up with your friends and play pixel play. Another thing that we wanted to implement was user experience, so we got to work and we added a tutorial so that players aren't lost when they join. Now we also need to improve our boy Clyde here, because, well, yeah, he's kind of the main guy to the game, and if he's lost, how are the players supposed to know where they're going?
Huh?
So we improved his pathfinding, plugged in some new animations, and gave him some voice lines.
You actually killed them. Whatever. It was only 3 zombies.
Next, go through the door and check out the armory. Figure out how to upgrade your wooden sword.
Wow, those are some great voice lines. Now, many big RPGs has one major thing that our game is missing. Actually, like, a lot of things, but one really big thing, and that's cutscenes. You see, cutscenes are a way you can really introduce a boss and give more story into your game, and that's what we're hoping to do. I mean, that can't be that hard. Here's the plan, which I totally didn't come up with in like 5 minutes. First, the player will always walk into the boss room and activate the cutscene trigger. Second, let's make the animation that the boss will have and time it accordingly to everything else. Third, let's make the camera scriptable, which allows us to customize and code where the camera goes. Fourth, let's get all of our angles and properly position them in the right spot. Now fifth, let's use tween servers to make the camera follow a smooth path unless it's a direct cut. And sixth, right, I think? Let's make the sound effects, and by make, I mean steal off the socialist marketplace, a great place for borrowing people's assets. But we got to work, and I think it looks really cool, and it adds a creative cinematic aspect to the game, which I absolutely love. We also got some random intern to do the voice lines.
Dude, I'm not doing the voice lines. I'm just not doing the voice.
Warrior, is it peace that you seek? Yet you kill others for the illusion of harmony. Lend me the strength of your blood. You shall join the wrath.
Now, the game is pretty much done, but there still is one key issue. The game is extremely unbalanced. So Com3t and I got to work, and after making spreadsheet after spreadsheet, analyzing the statistical complexity in graph. Oh, nope. You can also just change each value in a table on Google Docs until it feels right, because that's what true developers do. At least Roblox developers. And now I think that's everything. Ladies and gentlemen, the game is finally done, and it is my honor to present to you Barebone Alpha Pixel Blade. So yeah, go ahead and play. Whether it's for like a solid minute or even 10 minutes, just go ahead and play and have fun. Because that's what my end goal was. Just go ahead and press that play button. Link in the description. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed anything from this series, go ahead and press that subscribe button. But as always, see you guys next time.